The only non-programmer on the core team of fellow recent high school graduates that created Radix, I learned a ton of video game design and art basics, event scripting, and game balancing fundamentals. I remain proud of the final level I made for Radix in 1996, E1M8, found only in the 2.0 remix version. By making things like curved ceilings, I pushed the sector-based rendering to its limits. And then, of course, there's the Doom world. We copied a section of Doom E1M1, and then I made it completely destroyable by the player. An independent contract deal to make the first unofficial expansion pack for Quake, Aftershock was my first foray into learning true 3D level design and art production. I experimented a lot with verticality and non-linearity in 3D levels, with many levels challenging the player to traverse highly vertical spaces, often with water and damaging slime to contend with. I also started experimenting with environmental storytelling, and I wrote a narrative to go along with each level of my single-player episode, and tried to make it feel as though each level progressed naturally to the next, with no repetition. I wrote a design treatment for a game called Homeworld: The Expedition, and sold it to the folks at Formed Relic Entertainment and made their first game, Homeworld. They completely replaced my story idea, but remarkably, much of the design direction of the game originated from my treatment. Back in '97, I was the creative director for a massive, at the time, video game production with a 30-plus person team that was remarkably successful in realizing many of its ambitious goals. We won awards from demos at E3 in 1999, and there was a great anticipation and buzz building for the game. Unfortunately, a corporate buyout event effectively shuttered the entire studio and canceled the project when we were about 60% done with it. Regardless, it was a remarkable experience, where I learned valuable lessons about game production and being the keeper of the vision. I also remain very proud of just how much of the game we managed to fully realize with the time and people we had. I was lucky to have been given a very loose leash by EA to creatively direct the game design for the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets PC game project at Amaze. I took this very seriously and deeply immersed myself into the role. I was very careful to harness the strengths and previous accomplishments of the team, and together we made a super fun third-person action-adventure game based in Hogwarts, with the Chamber of Secrets story playing out much as it does in the book, seamlessly around the player as they progress through the game. I've only recently learned that there is an active Discord and speedrunning community for this 16-year-old game. So I now had my sights set on producing my own games again, but first I was lucky to land a contract to contribute to the second Hulk game made by Radical. I was able to use my game balancing skills for the Smashpoint system, but more importantly I learned a bunch of harder technical skills as I designed, scripted, debugged, and polished over half of the story missions in the game, using a proprietary recursive Lua-based event system. I shipped Ultimate Destruction, and then was asked to join the Scarface team to help them ship their game. I came in and immediately recognized that the non-mission, open-world gameplay was clearly lacking, so I pitched an idea for persistent gang nests with spawning tied to time of day, and was given the green light to work with the newly formed metagame team to spearhead the creation of about 100 gang nests across the entire open world of Miami. I then went out on my own and incorporated Interdimensional Games Inc. with a mandate to push the boundaries of interactive storytelling while being bound by a moral compass. So I knew that I wanted to make a narrative-driven game that took place entirely on board a futuristic aircraft, so one of the first things I did was to make a Half-Life mod myself to prototype the game and environment. A lengthy world-building, team-building, and fundraising process followed, leading eventually to full production for Consortium starting in 2011. Among all the responsibilities I took on to create this game, these are among the most notable. I acted as both executive producer and lead designer of the project. I personally scripted all of the animation sequences and narrative game logic for the entire game. Shown here is the final interactive narrative web for the game. We hired over 20 voice actors to take on all of the various roles that the narrative called for, and Steve and I learned how to very effectively work with the talent and are very proud of the resulting 5,000 lines of recorded dialogue. After about a year of pre-production and raising production money via crowdfunding, we began the creation of a direct sequel to Consortium in 2016. First, we ported a pile of stuff from C1 and built a standalone screenplay application for the tower's interactive narrative. In addition to overseeing all of production, I have acted as the lead level designer for the project, helping define the production pipeline for the creation of a massive interconnected 3D labyrinth consisting of flooded mazes, air vents, and more. I have also been in charge of designing and implementing stealth mechanics and patrolling AI. The currently available Act 1 levels represent roughly 50% of the game from a level design, art, and narrative standpoint. Thanks very much for watching. In addition to always looking for new general opportunities, the interactive narrative tech that we've developed over the past decade is available for licensing. The possibilities for it are limitless, and I would jump at an opportunity to co-produce new games with it.